For some, you desperately need just to be reminded of God's reckless love for you. You are not here by accident. You have not been forgotten. And he will fight through your lies, your doubts, your questions, because he wants you. And if some, he is calling for you to surrender in this moment. To surrender it all. Not waiting till this camp is over. Just surrender it all. Not even waiting for the next sermon. Surrender it right now. But Jesus, I want you and I need you. Lord, as we dive into your word, I pray that as you are still speaking to people, I pray that they hear your voice. And if you're speaking about something that has nothing to do with my sermon, you just keep talking, Jesus. I feel like you're gripping some hearts right now, Lord. And I am praying that you don't let them go. And I am praying that you keep speaking and whispering and calling them to yourself. And I pray that you would so use me and use this time to your glory for the good of us. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. So we are the third session of Focus. Are y'all having a good weekend? Good. What's your favorite part so far? Hunger Games. All right. Well, it's been fun to be with you as we dive in. We've been looking at the reality that Jesus is over all. That he is over all. We saw the first night he's over all because he made it all. That he is the creator, the sustainer, it says, that there is no heart that is beating that's outside of his control, that he controls every single thing, and not just the creator of the world, but he is the leader of the church. And who is the church? Us. Turn to your neighbor and say, you are. You are. All right, you are. If you. Okay, you can stop now. You can be talking to all my whole sermon. You are the church. It's important. And that you who bear the fingerprint of Jesus Christ, if you. Now I recognize not everybody here is there. And so I recognize that some of you, you're not there yet. And my prayer is that you get there before this weekend. But just so you would know that when you do get there, when Jesus really does kick down the door of your heart and rescue you from yourself, you would know that you are the church and that he is the leader of you, and therefore he is over all by saving and redeeming and reconciling. And then we looked at this morning that this is not simply to celebrate, though that's important, but something to guard. That this thing is precious, right? My precious. It is everything that your heart needs and longs for. And because it's so precious, it deserves your utmost energy and attention to guard and protect. And we're going to continue some of that tonight. But Paul, who wrote this book, is going to really get very specific. He's going to look at, okay, if Jesus is over all, right? Like if those of us who are saying that we know this Jesus, are living for this Jesus, he is over all of our lives, then what does your life practically look like then? What are you putting on, and then what are you taking off? And this is what he is going to be looking at today in Colossians chapter 3. We're looking at that he is going to be looking at, okay, if you truly are, then there are certain things you should be taking off, putting down, stopping, quitting, wrestling to let go of. And there are other things that you should be fiercely seeking to put on. And so we're just going to dive right in. Colossians chapter 3. You got your Bibles? Turn to it. Colossians in the New Testament. If you don't know where it is, look at the table of contents. Ain't no shame. Look at it. Colossians chapter 3, New Testament. Short book, 4 chapters. Colossians chapter 3. 3 is the big number. All right. And we're going to start in verse 1. I'm going to give you a minute to turn to it, click on it, whatever you got. When you have it, say, read it, preacher. Read it. All right, I will. All right. Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things, for you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. There are some phrases here that I'm going to encourage you to underline, circle, highlight, or star. And one, it's verse 1. Set your hearts. So you mark that in your Bible. And then verse 2, set your minds. Set your hearts, and then set your minds. He is saying that, man, for you who have been raised, remember, you've been raised. So when we talk about raised, outside of Christ, you are dead. All right? You are the walking dead outside of Christ. And then in Christ, he stands before the tomb of your heart and resurrects you and brings you out and brings you to new life. So you've been raised up in Christ, who is seated in heaven. And so because that's true, because that's very true about you, then you need to be setting your mind and setting your hearts on him and everything he is ruling. You need to be fiercely focused on him. Put everything in you and energy towards setting your mind, setting your hearts on him. It says, there's a common phrase, though. You could be anything that you set your mind to. Anybody ever heard that before? That's a lie. I tried that. I wanted to be an NBA player. That failed. But there's one time, one place is always true. And when you set your mind on Jesus, on things above, on his heart, on what pleases him, on what life looks like under his rule, then you really do become all that he calls and creates for you to be. So in your mind, it's seeking something out with a desire to possess it. Like, you ever had that strong desire to possess something? Like, if you ever played, all right, so here's the feeling of strong desire. Anybody ever play sports? Any football players? Do they still do two-a-days? Yeah. All right, so here we go. When I was growing up, two-a-days. That means you practicing 2 times a day in the middle of the most humid heat there is. In St. Louis, we got a really humid heat, all right? The kind of heat that just kills you in one drop, just kill you. And you sweating it out. And they will not let you get a drink of water. You got to go, go, go. So then when at the last of the practice, when they finally blow the whistle and let us get water, you know what we want? We want to possess that water. Give me that water. Because if you don't, I'm going to die. Right? It's going after it. So with your fierce energy, everything about you should be consumed with it. I'll tell a story. I told it last time I was here, but I want to fill in. Some of y'all don't know why. Some backdrop of my love for gummy bears. And I've loved gummy bears for many years. And one reason is because it saved my life one time. There was one time I was driving. Used to live in Chicago. And I got caught in traffic. Chicago traffic is crazy traffic. I don't know the traffic here, but it's crazy traffic there. So when you get stuck in traffic, you could be stuck for hours. And I mean hours and not move. So all of a sudden, I'm stuck in the middle of traffic right after work. And I'm hungry. So hungry, I'm getting blurry-eyed. You ever been so hungry, you angry? Hangry, yeah. Well, you will kill and eat anything at that moment I might eat the person in the next car if they pull up close enough. So this is me. I am stuck. I'm hungry, and so hungry it's like consuming me. And I knew, like I was getting lightheaded and everything. So I'm driving along, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? Because I can't get off the track. I'm stuck in it. So how do I find something to eat so that my eye just gets straight and I can just focus in making it home? And so, I got a raggedy car and I just keep old food in the back. And so I'm looking in the back for old food. There's some Doritos. Anybody love Doritos? I always got Doritos all around me. So I'm looking for Doritos. I look, but no Doritos. So I'm looking around. There's nothing. And so as I'm driving, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I need to eat something. And so the consuming power of hunger took over me, and I just thought, well, after all the times I've eaten in my car, surely there have been some French fries that may have dropped between the chair and that one. Yeah, that there? Okay. Surely there's something down there because I'm so hungry that I'm needing something. So I reach my hand down there, and I'm trying to find a French fry. No French fry, but I found something, and I pulled it up, and it was a gummy bear. Now, this gummy bear had all kinds of, it had stuff on it. I don't even know what it was. It had hair on it and crumbs. So I took it, and I looked at the gummy bear, and I said, well, do I eat it? Because if I eat it, I will survive. If I don't, I'm going to die in Chicago traffic. So in that moment, when I'm not sure what to do, I ate the gummy bear. And to this day, it was the most glorious gummy bear I've eaten in all my life. And I ate it because the consuming power of hunger so drove me to seek to possess something to satisfy that hunger. The consuming power of Jesus Christ, it means to awaken in you something where you are grabbing after, possessing something that satisfies, that moves you towards it. And this is what he is calling us to when he says, set your mind and set your hearts, that you are reaching out for something greater than you to define you. To do this, though, requires focus, energy, attention. And here's what's hard. Here's why I feel bad for you all. You all are the first generation that has everything you can imagine that would distract you. See, when I was coming up, so okay, raise your hand if you have a cell phone. All right, when I was a kid, that would be crazy. I did not get my first cell phone until college. Now, I'm not anti-cell phone. Have your cell phone. Play your game. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, look, I didn't have it till college. So what this means is in this moment, with the cell phone that has every single game you can imagine, every access to whatever, raise your hand if you have just some form of social media. Any form, just some form of it. Okay? Raise your hand if you got a game on your phone. Just raise your hand. Okay? Raise your hand if you always taking pictures on your phone. Raise your hand. Okay? Now, here's what this means. None of that is bad. What it means, though, is you have a lot of things that war against your focus. You have a lot of things that war against you seeking and setting your mind on Jesus. And that if you're going to do that, if Jesus is going to be over all and you set your mind, then you're going to need to be intentional about the distractions in your life. They're in my life. That I have to be ultra intentional about what am I doing with my time? What am I doing with my cell phone? Because it's always distracting me. Set your mind. It requires ongoing effort, not dropping your guard. And we do so because your very reality has changed. It says that. It says, since then you have been raised with Christ. Or for you, verse 3, for you died and your life is now hidden. Because your reality has changed, if you're a child of God, your whole reality is changing. It redefines everything. Like I remember going into high school. So when I was in junior high, man, school was just about going to school, kicking it with your friends, no big deal. And then I went to high school, and my guidance counselors talked about required credits for college. I'm just here to kick it. But my guidance counselor reminded me, high school ain't just about going to school. It's about preparing for the next thing that you're going to. Your reality has shifted, and it's no longer simply about this, but about what you are striving for. And that is what's true about a Christian. Your reality has shifted when you step into being with Jesus, and now because of that, your eyes are set on something completely different. Now, how do we do this? Just one practical way. Seek to start your day with Jesus. Seek to start your day with Jesus. Just simple. Spend 15 minutes with Jesus every day. You start there. Now, there's other things we'll add to it, but I would just say we live in a time where even that is almost impossible for many people. Let's just be honest with one another. Let's just be honest. Raise your hands if setting aside time with Jesus will be difficult. Just raise your hand. It's okay, let's be honest. I will tell you it's difficult for me. But we're not going to get to where we want to be, who he's called us to be, without it. So to do it, we just got to be really intentional about either starting your day or maybe morning ain't your best time, doing it at lunchtime or in the evening, but 15 minutes, just start there. Praying, reading scripture, spending time with Jesus. Now, this is important because this is what gives you strength under where he's going next. He's going to call us to do some things, and we're going to need to be setting our minds and our hearts on things above to be able to do it. And so he continues in verse 5. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices. Put to death. Simply put, he says, kill what's killing you. This is the one time you can commit murder and Jesus will high five you. Put to death, murder, kill, and kill things that are killing you. Living for Jesus is like, if Jesus is going to be overall, it won't be a romantic walk in the park. It's going to be war. Like there's this rap crew I like, 116. And any of y'all ever heard 116 crew? Cool. Love them. Going to see them concert soon. And one of the rappers, Tadashi, a while ago, he had this song, Make War. All right? Make War. And it really was about this, is that if you're going to be this Christian, then you're going to have to make war. And so this is how he kind of describes the Christian life. It's either fight or lose my life. And I can't take this passively. So what you think I'm about to do? I'm about to do what I can do. Trust the one who got me through and fight like it was after school. Fight. Make war. Kill what's trying to kill you, but kill what Christ has already killed. So kill sin. You need to choke it out. You need to do all you can to turn away from that which is inconsistent with who Christ is and with who you are now. And here's a list he gives us. If you ask the question, well, what are those things? All right, he helps you out. Sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, greed, anger. Now here's the thing. You are somewhere on that list. I don't care who you are. You are somewhere on that list. So what you should be doing right now is prayerfully circle, which one am I and which thing I need to be really killing. So for me, there's a number of things I have to regularly kill. Anger. Greed. Anybody greedy? I mean, I am a greedy person. I just want more and more. And I want to take over more and more. And then if I am not able to get more, that's where anger comes from. And that's the thing I have to keep trying to kill. So take a moment to think about it. Where are you on that list? Because it's not simply hypothetical. What thing that's on this list that's trying to kill you that you should be trying to kill? Kill because it never stays stagnant. See, sin never stays stagnant. You know, stagnant just never grows, never changes. Sin always grows. It never stays just small and cuddly and cute. It always grows more. How many of y'all have ever heard of Hitler? Where's Jan? Hitler. See, what's interesting about Hitler, here's what's interesting about Hitler. I was reading this book on Hitler's Mountains, fascinating book. But it's written from a daughter of parents who were struggling with how they were okay with Hitler at the time. And so many people were passively for Hitler. Not just always just overtly celebrating him, but just okay with him and who he became, because he didn't start that way. Hitler was a very kind guy, very nice, very patriotic. He said what the people wanted to hear. He was for the people's needs. And as he was talking, they were like, we like this dude. We like this dude. He's for us. He is kind. He's giving lollipops to the kids. We like Hitler. And then over time, Hitler slowly grew and grew and became the evil man that he was. But he never stayed that way. And anything on this list is a little Hitler inside of you. And it means to grow. And it means to destroy everything good in you. This is why he would say, put to death. He doesn't simply say, hey, stop it. You stop it. You better stop that anger. He don't say that. He's like a coach that get in your face. You better kill it. You better kill it. Any of y'all ever had a really intense coach that get all up in your grill? You better do this. This is Paul right now. Imagine him a coach says, get it straight, get it together, kill it. That's him. Crazy coach. Because he knows to take it lightly is very, very dangerous. See, a book in the Bible named Genesis, and it describes sin in this way, that sin is crouching at the door. Its desires for you is to rule over you. It's like a lion. I always laugh. I watch these videos, especially YouTube videos, and they'll do these interviews. Someone tried to raise a lion or a puma. You ever see those TV shows? And so they have these stories where I brought the lion home. He was so cute and cuddly. He was so cute. I remember one. It's just I brought him home and I put him in my apartment in New York, and I just raised him as my pet. And then one day I brought another cat home and he killed it. And then after he killed it, he attacked me. Why would he do that? He's a lion, fool. What you think he gonna do? I mean, just because listen, you thought you were raising it, it was grooming you. Like, it was just waiting for you to get big so he could eat you. That's what the lion does. Like, you should never be trying to raise a lion in your apartment in New York, and that's a true story, y'all. Wow. Listen, I'm not making that up. That was on the show. All right, listen, this is sin. So many times we pet sin as though it's a cute cat. Oh, cute little cat. Oh, you're so nice, cat. You're so pretty. I'm just going to take you home with me. I'm just going to take you. I'm going to raise you up, and I'm going to be nice to you. Right? Anybody that watch Stranger Things? Love Stranger Things. In this last season, What's the little chubby dude? I forget his name. But what? All right, Dustin. He brought the little lizard home? Is that them? Remember, he brought the little lizard home. Now, the lizard was this big when he started. Before it was over, that lizard was a monster killing everybody. That's what happens to your sin. It's a little baby lion or a little baby lizard, but it will grow. And so here's what's important, is you have to kill it as though it's an enemy. And so many of us, we are very mild to things that are inconsistent with Jesus. Like, we're okay with our anger. We're okay with being greedy and selfish. We're okay with sexual immorality. We're okay. We're okay with blurring of a little bit of lines. We're okay with rebellion against our parents. We're just simply okay because this is what we can do. And what the Bible makes clear is don't be okay with what's killing you, because it is not okay. You must kill it. So, how do you do this? What do you do? Well, one, you got to remember who you are. Who you are. You are child of God, saved by his reckless love, made new. And he loves you. Here's what's beautiful about his grace and forgiveness. We're not killing it because we're afraid Jesus won't love us anymore. We kill it because he does love us. We kill it because he's killed it and giving us the strength to keep it dead. Right? Because your sin is like old school scary movies. Michael Myers in the movie Halloween, they made like 100 of them. That fool can't die for nothing. And this is what Jesus is always saying, like, that thing will always try to come back and speak into your life and take control. But you got to remember who you are and keep putting it down. Secondly, not just remember who you are, be honest. Be honest and don't play games. Remember, don't play the Instagram game where you're just putting your best life forward. You got to be honest that you are struggling in some things. You got to be honest where there are things inside of you that are not right. You got to be honest that there are things consuming you that are inconsistent. And please don't come to youth group or to focus camp or to your parents and put a mask on. This is what he's saying. Take the mask off and be honest about those things that are hurting you and destroying you. It took me years. So I grew up just battling with bitterness and anger. And growing up, I knew I was angry, but it's no big deal. Nobody was saying anything. I was making it through life, doing my thing. And I got older and older, and I brought my anger into my marriage. The first few years of my marriage, I will tell you, they were horrible. And a lot of it's because of my anger. And I had this, and before, I was just making excuses. Well, it's marriage. Marriage is tough. It's my wife. She crazy. I wouldn't be angry if she wasn't so crazy. It's this, it's that. And then over years, the Lord just began to open my eyes and show me, it's none of those things, it's you. And until you're honest and say, I am an angry person, Jesus, and I don't want to be anymore. Would you help me to kill it? And he did. Now, I'm not saying I don't struggle at all, but I am nowhere where I used to be. But it started with looking in the mirror and saying, man, you're right. So for some of you, lust is killing you. And you got to be honest about it. Jealousy is killing you. Be honest about it. Know yourself. And then once you kill these things, you put on things. So you first take things off, then you put on things. He says it in verse 10, and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its creator. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Put on. Choose to put things on. This is, so turning and putting on. This is what we call, big word, repentance. Have you ever heard that word? Anybody ever heard that word, repentance? Really, this is what it is. Repentance is taking off. I agree with Jesus that this is sinful, harmful, and wrong and inconsistent with you. I put it off, kill it, take it off. I turn and I put on. So, Lord, forgive me. Lord, I want. So don't just take off. Put on. You're seeking to grow in compassion and kindness and love and forgiveness. You are seeking to be who Christ is inside of you. This is another mark that you can have assurance you know Jesus. I can tell you that I challenge people all the time. If you are joyfully an angry person, if you are joyfully a lustful person, and I say joyful as in there's no challenge in you, there's no check in you, there's no struggle in you, it's just you and you good with it. The Bible will ask you to really question, is Christ real inside of you? Because if Christ is real inside of you, then you have compassion, kindness, purity inside of you, wanting to live through you. So are you living that out? Put on. Seek to be compassionate and kind, not dismissive or indifferent. Compassion, having this heartfelt sympathy and lean towards the need of others. Even those, especially those you don't like. The mark of a Christian is not compassion to your friends, it's compassion to your enemies. Put on. It's compassion to your siblings. That's when it really gets tough. How many of y'all got siblings that, woo, compassion towards them might be the hardest thing on the face of the earth? Hey, that's why you need Jesus. Compassion, kindness, humility and gentleness, and not arrogance or annoyance. Put on love. Put on forgiveness. Put on forgiveness. Choose to forgive. Don't live lives with unforgiveness and bitterness in your heart. I will tell you, it will consume you. When I was your age, the anger I had underneath it was bitterness and unforgiveness. And I had people that I was bitter and just chose that I will not forgive them. And there is a lot of things I can point to that impacted my life, and at the root of it was unforgiveness. Some of you, you're bitter. You're bitter at your parents. You're bitter at a parent that's not there. You're bitter at a failure of somebody close to you. Someone promised to be there that's not there anymore. Someone promised to love you, but they failed to love you the way that you deserve. Someone abused you. Someone rejected you. Someone neglected you. And deep in your heart, you just chosen, I will not forgive because that will never happen to me again. And what Jesus is encouraging you to do and to be is to open the grip of your hand and says, I forgive, because in forgiving them, releasing them, I'm letting the Lord heal me. And can I tell you, high school and junior high, man, you're going to get your feelings hurt left and right. Teenagers are mean. I'm just telling y'all know this. Y'all evil, all right? I'm saying y'all, not y'all, it's those out there. But teenagers, I spend a lot of time with teenagers, and I'm like, why are we so mean to one another? That's like the things we will say to each other. The things we will say. We will destroy the esteem and the identity of people. And social media has just made that so easy. And I'm just telling you, in Christ, you got to be different. This is why it says, put off filthy language and words that do not express love, do not honor someone being created in the image of God. Put on love, put on forgiveness, put on patience. How do you do it? First, you pursue it. You pursue. We do so by seeking Jesus and learning about him. Walking with Jesus, people make it really complicated. It's really simple, just really hard. But it's really simple. It's walking with Jesus on a daily basis, seeking to know him through his Bible, talk to him in prayer, walk with him with his people, and every day you just keep doing that. And you just keep moving. And as you keep moving, over time, you grow. And before you know it, compassion is there. Man, I'm more compassionate than I used to be. And then love is there. Man, I'm loving people I ain't never loved before. And then I'm forgiving people. I know they cuss me out, but I love them anyway. And I'm just walking because I'm keeping my eyes on Jesus. And the more I walk, the more he's growing. And before I know it, years down the road, when I look up, I am more who he says I am and calls me to be than I used to be. It just takes a commitment and a focus to set your eyes on him and just keep walking. And as you walk, I kill the things that aren't him and I put on the things that are. Now the challenge for you, for many of you, is to practice a self-awareness and an honesty. And so right now, we're just going to take a moment of silence. Just in your seat, with your pen or on your phone. What is one thing you know he's calling you to put off? He's calling you to kill. And then what is one thing you know he's calling you to put on, to grow more? Take a moment. The beauty of Jesus Christ, the reason why I'm crazy about him and I want you to be too, is because Jesus is the only one that calls us to grow without an obligation to grow to be accepted by his love. Like he's the only one. Every other movement is you become better, then you become loved. Jesus is the only one that front loads it with love, calls you his child, his chosen one. He front loads it with love. And then he says, from the love that you are lavished in, saturated in that now grow. This is the joy in Jesus, that we don't have to be fearful. So when you wrestle with the things that are put to death, don't let that cause fear as though, man, the Lord doesn't love me because of it. No, he's loving you by showing you that. There's nothing you can do to change God's love for you. Nothing you can do. If you are in Jesus, he can't love you any more than he already loves you. He can't. If he did, it would be inconsistent with the gospel. When he died on the cross, he gave you everything up front. Now, walk in it as Jesus really is overall, saturated in his love, but seeking to be and look more like him. Let's pray. Lord God, we ask that you would help us. Help us to kill it, to kill sin, to kill anger, to kill lust, to kill rebellion, to kill disrespect. Help us to not be mild at things that are not you. And Lord, help us to put on. God, we ask that you would help us, God. God, I pray for anyone in this place, Lord, that deep down there dealing with anger and bitterness and unforgiveness. Pray, Lord God, that you would allow them, give them the strength and the courage and the grace to let it go. I pray for those that are consumed with lust, impurity, and morality. And it seems like it's just a stranglehold around their neck. I am praying that you will loosen that stranglehold, that you will set free. I pray, Lord God, that you would increase love and compassion towards these people and through these people. The world may know that you are real. In Jesus' name, amen.